Hello and very warm welcome at Amish Cycle 5858. I am Amish Cycle. Foreign news have been reported by American, European, Asian, African, Australian news channels and the news agencies. So please let's go to the headlines.
World News Tonight, America's most watched newscast. Now streaming same day with all the breaking news of the day on Disney Plus. Most watched, most trusted. Now on Disney Plus every night.
Tonight, breaking news, at least 6 American service members now killed after the attack on Iran. The Pentagon confirming 6 U.S. service members have been killed after Iran struck a tactical operations center in Kuwait. Also tonight, here harrowing images showing an American F-15 fighter jet falling from the sky. One of 3 F-15s shot down over Kuwait by friendly fire. All 6 crew members ejecting safely. Tonight, the U.S. now sending additional troops to the region. President Trump back at the White House, not ruling out American boots on the ground. And late today, Secretary of State Marco Rubio and the evolving explanation about why the U.S. attacked Iran when it did. Ian Panel standing by live from the region with late reporting. Tonight, the war escalating across the region now, and just in, the U.S. State Department is now urging all Americans to leave the Middle East. The growing conflict now involving at least 11 countries. A hotel struck in the UAE. Travelers evacuated from one of the world's busiest airports. And just in tonight, after at least 3 ships were attacked, Iran now saying the Strait of Hormuz, where much of the world's oil passes through, is now closed. What does this mean for oil prices moving forward? James Longman standing by live in Turkey. Tonight, ABC News with new satellite images showing the extent of the U.S. military operation. Iranian Navy ships on fire, a nuclear complex hit. Arthur Raddatz shows us what's been destroyed. The threat here in the U.S. tonight after the attack on Iran, the FBI now investigating a horrific and deadly shooting. The suspect with a rifle wearing a T-shirt with the Iranian flag. And what was found in his vehicle? 2 American college students killed, many others wounded. In other news tonight, the dramatic images on the runway, a United Airlines flight landing, reports of an engine fire, and then the emergency slides. Passengers can be seen running from the plane. The Nancy Guthrie disappearance, and tonight, Savannah Guthrie, her sister and brother-in-law, returning to Nancy Guthrie's home. Their tears laying flowers at the memorial left outside the home by the community. And what the sheriff is now saying tonight. We're tracking snow and rain moving into the Northeast, Philadelphia, New York, right up to Boston. And then the major change right behind it. And the beautiful sight in the sky coming tonight. When to look, and you'll be joined by billions.
This is Asia.
It's 12 p.m. in Singapore and Hong Kong, 9:30 in New Delhi, and 11 o'clock in Jakarta. I'm Ronnie Sami at this hour. Explosion across the Gulf. President Donald Trump threatens retaliation after Iranian drone strikes the U.S. embassy in Saudi Arabia. The U.S. State Department has urged Americans to leave the region immediately. Oil prices soar amid worries of a sustained war in Iran. Iran's Revolutionary Guards declare the Strait of Hormuz is closed, vowing to burn any ship that tries to pass through. As the war escalates in the Middle East, Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney lands in Australia. He's seeking more collaboration in trade and defense.
Creativity, ABC iView.
Today, Israel launches a fresh round of strikes into Lebanon as the widening war in the Middle East shows no signs of abating. The US president says the war in the Middle East could continue for several weeks, warning a bigger wave of attacks on Iran is yet to come. Iran targets energy infrastructure in the Gulf, including a key maritime passage, as global fuel prices begin to soar. Videos released of Bill and Hillary Clinton's closed-door testimonies about Jeffrey Epstein. And more heavy falls set to soak parts of North Queensland as a tropical low hovers over the Coral Sea. Welcome to ABC News. I'm Rose Childs. Israel has launched a fresh round of strikes into Lebanon as the widening war in the Middle East shows no signs of abating. And just in the last few minutes, we've received a statement from the US Defense Ministry saying their embassy in Riyadh has been hit by 2 drones. The Israeli military says it's targeting Hezbollah command centers and weapons storage facilities in the capital Beirut. Hezbollah is backed by Iran. Israel's strikes come after Hezbollah fired rockets from Lebanon.
The Middle East crisis expanding this Monday night. How the war is spreading. The lack of clarity about America's endgame.
This is not a so-called regime change war.
And how long this war could last. Plus, stranded Canadians wondering when they can come home.
Airspace closed, no flights going out.
And how much the conflict is driving up oil prices.
I just don't see a quick resolution to this.
National with Donna Friesen.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. The war that Israel and the United States started by launching aerial assaults on Iran is quickly expanding. And though Iran's supreme leader and many around him were killed, the country remains capable of fighting back. What happens next and how long this lasts is deeply uncertain. The U.S. and Israel have carried out thousands of strikes on Iran. Iran's Red Crescent says more than 500 people have been killed, including more than 150 people at a girls' school. Iran has responded by firing drones and missiles at Israel, where at least 10 have died, and at American bases and U.S. allies in the region. The U.S. says 6 of its service members have been killed and 18 others are seriously wounded. The U.S. president, who promised to end wars, not start them, today did not rule out sending ground troops and was vague about how long this might last.
Whatever it takes, we will always, and we have right from the beginning, we projected 4 to 5 weeks, but we have capability to go far longer than that.
The U.S. Secretary of Defense today said this will not be an endless war.
Unlike so many of our traditional allies who wring their hands and clutch their pearls, hemming and hawing about the use of force. America, regardless of what so-called international institutions say, is unleashing the most lethal and precise air power campaign in history.
And Iran is going after its oil-rich neighbors, targeting military bases, oil refineries, and civilian areas. And today had
Africa News. The news.
Guinea's President Mamadi Doumbouya is in good health, his advisors told local media on Monday after speculation about his ongoing absence. 41-year-old Doumbouya left Guinea on February 13th for an African Union summit in Addis Ababa. He has yet to return. Officials say he took a few days to rest and get a medical checkup, but denied there was cause for concern. Doumbouya came to power in a coup in 2021. He's since cracked down on civil liberties and banned protests. In December, he was elected to a 7-year presidential term in a poll where all major opposition was barred. For months, Doumbouya has been out of the public eye, appearing only once on the campaign trail and again to cast his vote. He reappeared in January to be sworn in and spoke at the AU meeting in February. His advisors say he'll return to Conakry in the next few days.
Authorities in Harare on Monday began releasing nearly 4,000 inmates granted presidential amnesty in what the government says is an effort to ease overcrowding in the country's prisons. Justice Minister Siyambi Ziyambi announced that close to 4,000 beneficiaries would start leaving detention facilities immediately. He said the amnesty focuses on vulnerable prisoners and those who have shown significant rehabilitation progress. Zimbabwe's prisons held just over 24,000 inmates in the second quarter of 2025, according to official data. The amnesty excludes prisoners convicted of serious crimes such as murder, robbery, and rape, as well as those charged under the Maintenance of Peace and Order Act. The move comes after the cabinet last month approved sweeping constitutional amendments, including proposals to extend Mnangagwa's term to 2030, changes that still require parliamentary approval.
You wouldn't know it by looking, but Somaliland's port of Berbera is at the heart of a geopolitical row ever since Israel officially recognized Somaliland in defiance of Mogadishu, which claims the territory as its own. Situated on the Gulf of Aden, the port is a vital regional hub.
Historically, Berbera used to be the center and is still the center of livestock export throughout the region, whether it's Djibouti, Mombasa, Sudan, just any port in the region. Berbera is number one when it comes to the livestock. We export here more than 4 million heads every year for Middle East and Gulf countries.
Dubai-based logistics company DP World has a 51% stake in Berbera. Talks are also underway with Ethiopia to give the landlocked nation access to the port.
So the more peaceful Somaliland is, it's the more peaceful that these markets, these international markets, the demand, the prices, everything will be stable, definitely. So we have direct, impact to the international economy, according to our geopolitical position.
In recent years, the UAE has helped upgrade the port to a state-of-the-art facility. Since 2020,
they're chanting something different in Iran.
It's not death to America after they killed the leader. The Americans and the Israelis did it. It's not death to Israel and death to America. It's thank you. It's a new day dawning. It's the Iranian people that have been telling me over and over and over again, we want this.
It's not just Iran. It's written in the skies of LA and on the ground. Those don't look like Mexican flags. While most Iranians are jubilant, the Washington Post's lighting a candle for the Ayatollah. Quote, with his bushy white beard and easy smile, Ayatollah Khomeini cut a more avuncular figure in public than his perpetually scowling but much more revered mentor. And he was known to be fond of Persian poetry and classic Western novels, especially Victor Hugo's Les Miserables. Is this the same guy that just slaughtered 30,000 civilians? And guess who's back? Jane Fonda. And she just ID'd a war criminal.
This is a desperate, immoral act in the hopes that he can score a victory and be declared war president. And this is a sad, unhinged man. He is at war on many fronts. He is at war against democracy. Let regime change start at home.
Democrats spent decades calling the Ayatollah a fanatical dictator, so dangerous he could never get a nuclear weapon. They tried everything: treaties, bribes, sanctions, inspections. Nothing worked. Iran kept digging deeper and deeper tunnels to enrich. They financed terrorism, killed Americans from Beirut to Baghdad, took hostages, shut down shipping, tried to assassinate the commander-in-chief. Democrats all agreed the number one state sponsor of terrorism was a rogue state, hell-bent on destroying America. But the minute Trump took action, they say Iran's a pussycat.
It was a brutal dictator. This is a murderous regime. But at the same time, it posed no imminent threat of attack to the United States.
He didn't describe the existential threat of the moment, the immediacy of the crisis at hand. There wasn't one. He manufactured it.
Obama and Biden sent billions to the mullahs, and all they did was beef up their ballistic missiles, nuke sites, and terror proxies. President Trump didn't want to wait for Iran to build missiles that could hit New York, or a nuke in a bunker so deep we couldn't see it. He believed this was the last window of opportunity to destroy the Iranian regime, so they couldn't blackmail the global economy with a nuclear weapon. They were at a very weak point, so he took a shot. Trump's already laid it all out, but Democrats aren't listening.
As I see this, hey, there's no real plan here. I think the president owes the American people an answer. What is the strategy here?
Why would Trump brief the guy who told troops to revolt? Why show war plans to Congress? So what, Omar can leak it? Obama didn't get permission for Libya.
Hello, watching Sky News. Andy Fraser here at the headlines up for. Breaking news, a fire has broken out at the American embassy in Saudi Arabia following a drone attack. Also, as the US and Israel strike targets in Iran for a third day, President Trump hints the conflict could last for weeks or even months.
Right from the beginning, we projected 4 to 5 weeks, but we have capability to go far longer than that.
Iran strikes across the Middle East, including on vital gas and oil refineries, and says it will close the critical Strait of Hormuz. In Lebanon, Israel targets Iran's proxy, the militant group Hezbollah. And as an RAF base in Cyprus comes under attack, the Prime Minister rejects US criticism of his decision not to join the strikes on Iran, insisting he doesn't believe in regime change from the skies. Hello, morning. Let's update you with this developing story overnight. Saudi Arabia has said the US embassy in Riyadh has been attacked by 2 drones a few hours ago, causing what it says was a limited fire.
We're here, there, and everywhere, keeping you informed.
Good morning, I'm Oliver Farry, and this is Daybreak on France 24, and here are this morning's headlines. Israeli and US airstrikes continue to pound Iran for a 4th day as Israel claims it has struck and dismantled the headquarters of the state radio and television broadcaster, the Islamic Republic of Iran Broadcasting. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump says he is not ruling out putting boots on the ground in Iran. Fire is reported at the US Embassy in Riyadh as Iran's retaliatory attacks continue to expand the conflict across the Gulf. Little damage is reported at the compound, but the US issues shelter-in-place orders for its citizens ahead of efforts to evacuate the region. Videos of Bill and Hillary Clinton's testimonies last week to a House Oversight Committee investigating Jeffrey Epstein are released. Former US President distanced himself from the late financier and convicted paedophile, while the former Secretary of State vehemently denied ever meeting Epstein and questioned the committee's failure to get Donald Trump to testify.
The US Embassy in Riyadh has been hit by a drone attack. The Saudi Defense Ministry says 2 drones have sparked fire and minor material damage to the building. 8 additional drones have been intercepted and destroyed near the capital as Iran continues its campaign targeting American facilities in Gulf states, including Saudi Arabia. The Israeli military has struck the Al-Manar news channel building in Beirut. The channel is owned and operated by Iran-backed militant group Hezbollah. Israel said it was targeting Hezbollah command centers and weapons facilities. It's unclear whether there were any casualties.
The Lebanon
US President Donald Trump says the Iran war may last for weeks, but the US has, quote, the capability to go far longer. Meanwhile, in an interview with Fox News, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that it wouldn't be an endless war, but that it may take some time.
In fact, I hear the people are saying we're going to have an endless war here. You're not going to have an endless war.
The Middle East is in.
Arbitrator, savior, juror, solicitor, cause, bring comfort.